in case we feel like we want to post it. So I started the recording, and what we're going to talk about tonight, I thought it would be neat this month to kind of focus on, I sent that poll out and everyone wants business building tips, which I figured would win. So we're going to kind of focus, try to do more Thursday night Zoom calls for our team and do some more, like, kind of focus on business building for the month of April. So tonight I want us to just share, and it's not like super formal, but just some ideas for reaching out. And these are a lot of things I've taken from different books I've read or trainings I've watched. I'm sure a lot of the trainings are the things that you guys have watched as well. But one of the main things, and I have about like 11 to 12 just kind of bullet points that you guys can write down as we go. And but basically the first thing before we start is just to make sure that you guys, I'm kind of challenging you to really step out and get uncomfortable. That's really what reaching out is all about. And just to kind of come to a place where you get really passionate about sharing these products and this opportunity with other people. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody just in case kids run in, and you can unmute yourself if you have like a question or whatever. But so when we're talking about reaching out, some of the assumptions that we're saying, you kind of thinking you've already done this, and if you're new and you haven't done these things yet, it's fine. But first, we're assuming that you've got your Franks list and it's growing, you're adding people to it. You're consistently posting on Facebook, daily, getting at least, a Plexus post in, but also being sure that you're posting about other things, staying balanced. Don't let it be all about Plexus, and that you're consistently engaging with people outside of your Plexus world and people in your non-Plexus, your non-Plexus friends. So just remembering that people are always watching, always, always, always. So why is it important for us to reach out? When I first started this whole thing like 3 years ago, I took the opposite approach. I sat back and I waited for people to come to me. And that is one way that you can do this. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. People will eventually come to you, but the deal is that there are a lot of people who never will approach you, who need these products, who want these products, but they're never going to be the ones to take that step and message you. So we can't just sit back and wait for that to happen. We really can't afford to do this, because the bottom line is, and I know that this has happened to a lot of us, if we do that and we sit back, somebody else is going to reach out to that person before we do. And then, they're not going to join us. So those are kind of the assumptions we're working on. And then the other thing I want to say about, before we get into this, is that when you reach out to people, this is not a chain letter type situation. Okay. All of your reach outs should be unique and different. No two reach out should be the same, just like your follow-ups should all be different. They should not all be the same. So please don't chain mail people. Don't send, you write up this, thing about Plexus and you just change for the person's name and send it. If you've ever been on the receiving end of that, I mean, I have been, and it's like, you just see right through it. And so just kind of, if you've been doing that in the past, it's okay, but just kind of take these ideas in and try to adapt them and not do the copy paste, write a Plexus novel. Don't do that. Take the time instead to really think through the person that you're reaching out to. Think about your relationship that you have with that person and tailor it to that person. Make it fit the relationship that you have with them, okay? Adjust it accordingly. And the other thing with those chain letters, like I got one like literally a few days ago from a girl that I'm kind of friends with, and she's selling skincare stuff. And she sent, it was so long, I had to do this on my phone like 4 times. I'm not even kidding. And at the end, I was like, I don't even know what to say. I'm like, I don't know what to say. And I think I said, thanks for thinking about me. I don't know. I may have sent something back, but I never even heard back from her. Like, that was the part that I was just like, that was not cool. I mean, that we don't want to be that. That's annoying, and we don't want to be annoying. So keep it short. Reaching out you're starting a conversation. It's all a conversation that you want to keep going back and forth. It's kind of like Emily Roberts talks about it a lot, like being tug of war. Like you give a little and they give a little, and then you give a little and they give a little. So you're keeping that conversation going, and you're not puking Plexus right from the beginning. Don't puke Plexus, just think of it more as a conversation. So with Plexus and with, any kind of network marketing, we are in the business of building relationships. So, and this was kind of, I had a hard time in the beginning reaching out to people because I was afraid people were going to think all I was doing this for was just because I wanted them to buy Plexus. And so if you're feeling that way, I want you to really just think about this. Yes, we're in relationship marketing, but living in relationship with other people is just a great way to live your life anyway. So if you decide, I want you to decide right now to detach yourself from the outcome of, do they buy Plexus? Do they not? Do they join my team? Do they not? Detach yourself from that outcome. Okay. Don't attach to that, but instead attach yourself to this question. Am I adding value, or how can I add more value to this person's life? Okay. Seek to bring value to them. And this will free you. I promise you, it will free you from worrying about how they're interpreting you. If you're focused on adding value, that is what's going to come across. And you can detach from, I don't even care if I do care. I want them, to have the best health possible, but some along the way will buy Plexus from you, and that is great. Some will join your team, and that's great, but some won't, and that's okay too. Not everyone is going to, and it's okay. But this allows us to reestablish connection and relationship with people that maybe we haven't talked to in forever, and that's a good thing. That's just a great way to live your life. So if you can just start finding joy in the connection part of it, it will remove that pressure that maybe you've been putting on yourself of, am I saying the right thing? Oh my gosh, what if I mess that up and now they're not going to buy? Let that all go. I know that you guys have heard, most of you probably have heard the difference of being a farmer and a hunter. And so if you haven't, just briefly, a hunter is someone who basically is on the prowl. They are hunting for prospects. They are hunting for people to purchase. They're hunting for people to join their team. It is not fun to be hunted. It's not fun to be the hunter. People can smell you coming a mile away. It's like you're a shark and you're just going after the kill. So don't be a shark or don't be a hunter, but be a farmer. And a farmer is someone who is really invested and focused on the relationships, on building friendships, on offering solutions. I want you guys to think about yourself as a coach, as a consultant, as someone who has a solution to a problem. And your goal, your main objective is to educate. That's it. If you educate and you increase someone's understanding about what these products and this business opportunity could be and what these products could do, then it's on them to make the decision of whether or not Plexus is right for them right now. That's their decision, not ours. But your job is just to share and to build that trust and to offer that education. So the reason I think that this is such an important thing is Lori Harrison did a call for our team, our I Am Plexi team, 2 weeks ago. And she said, whenever somebody messages you and says, what's this Plexus stuff you're talking about? Or what's this Plexus stuff? She said, they have opened the door and they are a yes. They want it. If they're messaging you, at that point, it is your ball game to screw up, basically, is how she says it. So how you respond, if you puke Plexus, you sent them in the other direction. If you respond in a way that is engaging in the connection and building trust and, like the farmer, then you're in a better position to where that person's going to say, okay, I want to, give this a go. So these are just some ideas. And like I said, there's no one way. I want you to hear all of these and then tailor it to this particular, situation as it comes up. So, the first thing I want you guys to write down is, and this is from Emily Roberts, like I said, keep it short, short, short. And here's the formula. 2 sentences, 1 question. Okay, so 2 sentences plus 1 question. So if somebody reaches out to you, for the first time, and what this basically does is it makes you stop talking and listen more. Stop talking, listen, listen, listen. And here's the other thing with the 2 questions, 2 sentences, 1 question. When you reach out for the first time, it may or may not have anything to do with Plexus, and that is okay. It does not always have to be about Plexus, especially in the beginning. It may just be 2 sentences. Oh my gosh, it was so cool to see those graduation pictures. I can't believe how big your kids have gotten. What's new with you guys? I mean, that's a reach out. That's connecting with somebody. It doesn't have anything to do with Plexus. It may be, you know, a few back and forths before Plexus even comes up. But let's say, you know, it's more of a reach out that's going to be about Plexus. So this formula allows you, like I said, to keep your mouth quiet and let them talk about themselves. So if someone says, hey, Ashley, you know, what's this Plexus you keep posting about? Here's what I could say. 2 sentences, 1 question. Oh my gosh, hey, Kelly, I would love to send you more information on Plexus. Or hey, Kelly, great to hear from you. I would love to send you more information about Plexus. Did a certain post of mine catch your attention? Did you have a certain product in mind? Ask a question, throw it back to them. Let them start giving you the information so you know what products might be working for them and how you can kind of guide that follow-up. I know you guys have heard that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I know we spend so much time educating ourselves on the products, as we should. That's very important. But most people don't want all that information right out the gate. People that do, they're usually the ones who go out and research it on their own before they've even contacted you. You might have an opportunity to share all that information with them, and that's great. But in the beginning, that's not what people are after. You know, let them know how much you care. Let them share with you and talk about themselves. And remember, again, we talk about our why, you know, with this business, but our customers have a why as well. So be digging for that why. Find out what their why would be for these products, or even, you know, the business too, but find out what that why could be. So, okay, the 2 sentences and a question, understanding that reaching out for the first time, it doesn't always have to be about Plexus. It might be to set up a coffee date, a lunch date, a dinner date, a play date, just reconnect, you know, just to kind of reconnect with them. So, okay, the next thing I wrote down as an idea is just, and we've talked about this throughout the last month, is creating those Facebook friend lists, those friend groups. And if this is someone who you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I'll use Tiffany as an example since she's kind of new. I'm like, Tiffany, she'd be so awesome. I haven't talked to her in so long. I mean, like, I know she's on Facebook, but gosh, I'm not even seeing her Facebook posts. Well, if I have created my Facebook list, and I have that video on our team page on how to do that, I could start just like, you know, going to her page, or, you know, making sure she's on a Facebook friend list where I can actively see what she's up to, and just start engaging with her that way, you know, commenting on stuff and finding out what's going on in her life. You know, that's reaching out. You're getting yourself on somebody else's radar. And again, we're not doing it manipulatively, because we're at a place where we have detached ourselves from the outcome, and we know, regardless, I really want to know what's going on in Tiffany's life. Like, she has amazing taste and she's redoing her house, and like, I want her black and white kitchen floors. They're awesome. So don't just message someone out of the blue about Plexus. Like, why would I out of the blue? You know, I haven't talked to Tiffany in years. You know, I'm not going to just like send her this, you know, cute Plexus up on her. Let that relationship kind of start to unfold naturally. So use Facebook to your advantage to engage with people. And especially if it's someone who you haven't talked to in a long time. Okay, number 4, and this is awesome, and I forgot to mention this before I started. These 2 books are, if you guys, some of you have probably read these, but if you are really wanting to build your business, you need both of these books. This one is called Go Pro by Eric Worre. It's pretty cheap. It's, I don't know, gosh, $10, $12. And I read this, I reread this. It's highlighted, it's tabbed. Get this book. If you've got team members who want to build, get them this book. Give them a copy of this book. So number 4 is going to come from this book, but I want to show you this book too. Millionaire by Halftime, and it's by Presley Swaggerty. Some of the same principles in both, but they write about it a little bit differently. This one has like little challenges at the end of each chapter. So good. So a lot of these ideas came from these 2 books. But okay, number 4 is using one of Eric Worre's tools, which is called the If I Will You. Okay, and I love this. This is so good. So maybe here's one way you could use this. Let's say you are going to send a cold message, you know, a message to someone who you guys have never chatted Plexus before. So you could say something, and maybe this is someone that you know, talk to somewhat frequently. You could say, hey, Kelly, oh my goodness, I just started some new products. I think that you would really love them. If I send you a couple samples in the mail, will you try them? That's the if I will you. That it's as simple as that. If I send you some information, will you read it? Will you look at it? If I send you a video, will you watch it? Okay. If I will you. And so I know a lot of us are doing those giveaways right now. The you guess, you get, or whatever, giving away sample packs. And I used this, and every single person, the people that did not win, I messaged everybody and I said 2 sentences and a question. Thanks for playing in my giveaway. Sorry you didn't win. I'm going to be doing it again. Have you tried Plexus before, or has something specific about Plexus interested you? So I got the conversation going. After a few times, and I could kind of gauge their level of interest, because some people weren't interested at all, and that's fine, but some were. And so I said, well, I don't have any 7-day samples left, but I have a few slim sticks I could send you. If I sent it in the mail, would you drink it? If I will you, if I would you, and they say, yes, I will, send it to me. So that's a great tool. And what he talks about is that as humans, we are hardwired to answer that question with a yes. Okay. So it's great for that reason. But also it takes away that desperation and that begging. We never want to feel like we're begging, because we shouldn't be begging. I mean, what we have is valuable. And I think when we use the if I will you, it does bring value to the thing that we have, the products that we have. And it kind of sets it up as a valuable exchange. If I give you this, will you do this? And so it kind of implies that we have something of value to offer and to add to them. And it takes away that desperation. I'm so desperate for someone to try this product. No one wants to try it, because we know that that's not the case. In fact, the opposite is the case. So when you value what you have, people respect you. They do. And so a desperate distributor is not attractive. We know that. So that's one reason I love that tool. And some of you guys, we can chat at the end, may have had really great success using that. So that's number 4. And number 5 kind of follows up to that. So if they say yes to that, okay, so I said, if I send you some information, will you read it? If I send you a quick video, will you watch it? Sure, send it over, I'll watch it. Okay, number 5, get the time commitment, okay? Don't let that be where it just ends and you're like, oh gosh, but I don't know when she's gonna watch it or when she's gonna read it. Try to get a time commitment, okay? So you could say, just a couple ways you could do this. 1, you could say, great, if I sent you, so I'm gonna send you this video, do you think you'll have time to watch it in the next couple of days? Question. Let them tell you, it's kind of busy this week. I think I can watch it on Wednesday. Then you would say, okay, great. I'll follow up with you Wednesday night. Or can I follow up with you Thursday night, or Thursday morning or whatever. Get that commitment. That's one way you can do it. Or you could say, okay, great. Here's the video. And then you could say, I'm going to touch base with you in a couple of days to make sure that you were able to read it or watch it and that you understand it. Okay. So get that time commitment. And here's the most important thing about that, is if you do that, if you set up that time commitment with them, please do what you say you're going to do. This is getting into that follow-up piece. Okay. So do what you say you're going to do. Commit to doing it. They are going to be annoyed if you don't. If you say, okay, I'll follow up with you in a couple days, and then they don't hear from you for 2 weeks, not good. There are plenty of inconsistent people out there doing network marketing. There's plenty. Do not be one of them. Be different. Set yourself apart. Be committed to your business. Be committed to your customers and your potentials. Choose to do your business the right way and to stay on top of it. And I know that I know that adds an element of something you have to keep up with. And we can talk maybe about follow-up next week, but make sure you have a follow-up system that works well for you and your personality. Some people use their phone. That doesn't work well for me. I'm a very tactile person. So I have to put it in my calendar. I have to highlight it. I'm real visual. I also have my note card system that I use. And we can talk about that at another time, but just make sure you have a way of noting that in your calendar or making an alarm in your phone so that you don't miss that time commitment that you've made to someone. Okay. So if I will you, and then if they say yes, get that commitment so that you guys can follow up on it. Okay. All right. Number 6. This is something that Emily Roberts uses, and I really like it. And so you guys may have seen her videos on it. She uses her magic text or her magic message. And this is really good. I'll tell you exactly what she says, and then I'll tell you kind of a version I've used before too. So she says, she'll do this in a text message. She'll say, hey, Kelly, I know that you've probably seen me, well, here's how she exactly says it. Sorry. She'll say, hey, Kelly, I know that this may or may not be for you, and that's okay. But I think you would make the most perfect person, the most amazing person for my Plexus team. Can I call you today or tomorrow? That's what she says. That's her magic text. And obviously you can kind of do a variation of that. I know that this may or may not be for you, and that's okay. Making sure that you're kind of giving them that out. But I think you would be so amazing at this. People trust you. They respect you. You have influence over so many people. You would be the perfect fit on my Plexus team. Can I call you today or tomorrow? So there you are, ending with that question. One thing I've kind of a modification of that, I sent this to someone who I hadn't talked to her in a long, long time, but we used to work together, and I just was like, I'm going to have to just cold message her, because like we just, our paths never cross, and we're friends on Facebook. But so I said, hey, Kim, I did like some little chit chat at the beginning, but then I said, I know this is kind of random and totally out of the blue, but have you ever thought about Plexus before? I mean, I just like threw it out there. And then I said, I've been wanting to message you for a while. You've been on my mind for a while, because I remember how you have always been such a go-getter, and people are naturally drawn to you, and you would be a rock star at this. Can we chat today or tomorrow? Or, like get that question in there. Can we chat sometime this week? And just throw it back on them. So you've paid them a compliment, but you've also given them an out by saying this may or may not be for you. You've kind of already let them know it's okay. You can tell me if it's not. But here's the great thing about that too, is if they say, man, thanks for thinking of me, but it's just not really for me. That's okay. But the other thing is, like, you've paid them such a huge compliment that I promise you, they're going to be watching you a little bit more closely, with what you're, with Plexus and what you're doing and your successes and, how it's going for you, because you've already spoken belief into them about how they could do it too, how great they would be. So I really like that magic text. And I'll say it one more time in case you guys were this is Emily Roberts' magic text. She says, hey, this may or may not be for you, and that's okay, but I think you would make the most perfect person on my Plexus team. Can I call you today or tomorrow? And that's what she says. And again, you can always throw in why you think that, because you have such a huge network, because you have like just such an outgoing personality. People trust you. You're in the health field. This is, so close to what you're already passionate about, something you can throw in the reason why too. Okay. Number 7, I wrote to take it offline. So, getting the conversation back and forth going on Facebook is awesome. That's where I would say 90%, of the time it starts for me and the people that I've gotten as customers or gotten as team members. But we've got to get out from behind the computer. I know that it's really safe, behind the computer, but try to set up a time to talk, to meet them in person if they live in your area. But if nothing else, at least get them on the phone so that they can hear your excitement. They can see your excitement if it's face-to-face. They can hear your passion. That kind of thing does not come across in messages, no matter how many exclamation points you use. That sound of confidence and passion, it's a sound, it's not in a typed message. So another kind of thing on this is, if you're new and that kind of like makes you a little, a phone call or a meetup or whatever, use those 3-way phone calls that we talk a lot about. And 3-way chats. That's one thing we really want to do. One of our training calls on this month is doing 3-way chats on Facebook, where it would be like me, the person who I'm trying, to get to order or to join my team, or that's reached out and is asking me questions, me and them, and then my upline. So us three getting on a three-way chat on Facebook where my upline can really help answer some of those questions and troubleshoot, because maybe I'm new and I'm not quite certain how to answer everything. So if you're not using the three-way call or chat, like, you're really missing out, because they really are. There's a lot of power behind that, especially with the third-party validation, coming from a total stranger. Sometimes that's it's so powerful. It really, really is. So, okay, number 8, and this is one I was going to show you. Let me pull my phone. I want you guys, if you're not already, to start using voice messenger. So this is kind of like, it's kind of like not really taking it offline. If you can't get on the phone or meet up, you can at least let them hear your voice. And the way that you can do that is with voice messenger. So I'll show you guys. Most of you may know how to access this, but this is like if you're in, and this is with an iPhone. I don't know if it's different for other phones, but let's say that you're in your messages on Facebook. And let me pull one up here. And when you go to your messages, that's kind of glary. Can you guys see that? Is the glare off of it a little bit? There is a microphone. And see, I've already hit it. So like it's gone now. But then if I hit the microphone, that little red button pops up. And it's just like using a walkie-talkie, basically. You just hold it and talk. And when you release it, the message gets sent. The thing about this is you don't get a practice run. So like whatever you record when your thumb is holding it down, when you release it, it's getting sent. So if you like practice what you want to say, if you need to, if you need to make sure you have it down, practice it and then record it. And you can go for a minute, 60 seconds at a time. So this is good because it adds that personal connection. Okay. It brings in your voice where they can start to hear your excitement, your confidence, your passion. And it's a time saver too. Like, we talk about the 2 sentences in a question, and with this, you can kind of, you could talk for 45 seconds and get those 2 sentences in a question in, so it's also like, I think when people see that you have a voice message, sometimes it's easy for people to read what you wrote and not respond. But like with this, I mean, they have to listen to it. Like it's sitting there and they have to listen to it. So, but it is a really big time saver too, with not having to type everything. And if you're driving, it's a lot safer, and you're not supposed to text anyway. So don't do that. So anyway, what you could say, like one example I wrote here, and it's kind of the same I keep saying, but if someone were to say, hey, Ashley, what's this Plexus stuff you keep posting about? Okay, I'm going to send a message. I'm going to open the microphone. I'm going to say, hey, Kelly, so great to hear from you. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. I love seeing all the stuff that you've got, going on Facebook. I would love to get you some information on Plexus. Did you mean the products or the business? Let go, send, there it goes, and let her respond back. So the voice component, using that voice messenger is something I want you guys to all start using it for, even like your customers when you're doing follow-up, your team, everybody. It's just a really, really good tool for us to use. So number 9, okay, we've kind of been talking about this. So with follow-up, basically, if you're reaching out the correct way, it morphs into follow-up, because it's just kind of this ongoing conversation where you're following up naturally. The reason that you don't want to give away everything in that initial reach out, and what I mean is giving them all this, information about Plexus, is because it leaves you something to follow up with. You need things that you can continue following up with and adding to. So following up, it's all about them. Okay. The follow-ups with your reach outs is what I'm talking about. And again, doing it a little bit at a time is the proper way. Nobody wants to get like 30 questions at one time. How are you sleeping? How are you, how's your elimination? How much water do you drink? Let that just evolve. Let that be a conversation that you ask them about. Follow up with your reaching out is not, hey, so do you have any questions? Did you need any help getting on my website? If so, let me know. Like that's not a follow-up, okay? It needs to be about them. It needs to be talking to them, adding more like information that's going to help them in making a decision. So maybe you saw a really great testimonial that kind of reminded you of something they said that they were struggling with. Or you could send them, even like Jennifer Pickett has those really short product videos. I posted them on Monday on our team page. They're short. They're like 3 minutes. I've used those. I'll say, oh my goodness, I found this video super short and it totally explains what I was trying to tell you about the ProBio 5 and the BioCleanse. And they're like 3-4 minutes. Anybody has time to watch that. Articles, you could send articles. Of course, if there's, specials, you want to send that information too. But, if you found like a testimonial or something, you could send it and say, hey, I saw this today. I instantly thought of you and I wanted you to see it. I know that your time is really limited and you're really busy, but I hope that you can find 3 minutes to watch it. I really think that these products would do wonders for you and I don't want you to miss out. Something like that, just short and sweet, and then send it along with that piece of information. So the other thing too with follow-up that I think sometimes people don't think about is following up with as you're reaching out. It doesn't always have to be a message. Sometimes just by, you want to stay engaged with them on their Facebook page, and sometimes just by commenting is a way of following up, because they're like, they know they're talking to you about Plexus, but it's just a way of kind of keeping you on their radar. So it doesn't always have to be just some, message that you send. Okay, number 10 was 3-way calls, but we already talked about that. So 2 more little things. Number 11, I wrote the color personalities, the 4 color personalities. This is one more book. I won't show you guys any more books after this, but we all know like the 4 color personalities. And this is the one that this is Big Al Schreider's book. He talks about relating those personality colors to your business, to network marketing. And so what he talks about is all the 4 colors basically have power words, words that are their language. It speaks to their heart. And so like yellows, their word is help. They're all about helping people. Blue, they're like the party people. They just want to have fun. Red is money. That's one of their, that's kind of their power word. And then green is research. So sometimes you can find out pretty quickly what color personality the person that you're reaching out and talking to is. Sometimes you can't tell because, we all have a little bit of all of these. Some of them, sometimes we're like really strong in 2, and sometimes it's pretty obvious which one we are. But if you're reaching out to someone and you can kind of identify what their personality color is, that's what he talks about in this book, is speaking to them in a language that has power, using words that are powerful to them so that your message can get into their head and into their heart, and then they can make a decision about what they want to do with that information. But sometimes it's a matter of we're not really speaking the right language to that specific person. So that's a really good book, and it's really short, and it's not very expensive at all. Okay, and then the last one I just wanted to say is that, just always remembering that it takes time, and sometimes it takes a lot of time. If you haven't gotten a no from someone, then the question you should ask yourself is, why am I not still following up with them? Okay. You go until they tell you no, which, even then we know that like a no is usually a not right now or a not enough information. It very rarely does it mean no forever. Jen Hawkins, she always tells the story about how she had a really awesome customer who is a great customer, lots of success. She was a customer for about a year, and that whole year Jen was like, you'd be amazing, do this business with me, do this business. And the whole time the person's like, not for me, not doing it. I'll be your customer, I'll send you people, but I'm not doing this business, never. Finally, Jen like chiseled away and got her to say yes. And of course, it was Celeste. Celeste is the highest earner in our company now. And she said no for a full year. She was a customer. So you really just never know. And so remembering that 12 to 16 follow-ups sometimes is what it takes to get somebody's attention with anything, and especially with something like this. So if you remember what we were saying, like if your objective is to educate and to increase understanding, then think about that. Is it possible to fully educate somebody after one exposure? Really? No, it's not possible. So we cannot expect someone after 1 time, 2 times, 3 times for them to order. If they don't, we have to like disconnect from that outcome and just remember life happens. People get busy. If they haven't messaged you back, guess what? People get distracted by things. I want you guys to know that it's a process, but I also want you to condense your follow-up in as like short of a time frame as possible. So allow take your potential from exposure to exposure, take them through, guide them through, but try to condense it, because if you let too much time go by, if you reach out on a Monday and you let 2 weeks go by, that's too much time. That's too much time. That's not a condensed follow-up, because that's too much time for life and distractions and things to happen. So follow up, but let, 2-3 days, just kind of judge it based on that particular person in the conversation that you're having, but don't let too much time go by. And one thing that I love, and I can't remember who it is that talks about this, but she always reminds her team that we have to remember, like, the people we're reaching out to, they have yet to experience the magic of the pink drink. Okay, they have not even tasted it. They don't even know. It is on their back burner. Okay, for us, it's on our front burner. We think about the pink drink every single day. It is just like, that's what we're all about. So, but it's not for them. It's not a priority. So just because they're not messaging you back, or just because they haven't purchased yet, it just means it doesn't mean that they're not interested. It just means it's not yet a priority. Okay. So try to really not let yourself take it to this real negative, oh my gosh, they hate me. They're so annoyed by me. They're never going to order from me. Because it could be the exact opposite. And I'm being honest with you when I say I have customers that I followed up with for over a year, and some close to 2 that finally order. So it takes a different amount of time for everybody. So keep your urgency, but then have patience. Let your urgency and your patience be balanced when it comes to reaching out and continuing to reach out and continuing to follow up. There are a few of us that a few of the girls on the call that I'm going to unmute I'm going to unmute everybody. A few of the girls and anybody can really, if there's something that I didn't touch on that you have found to be really effective, please share that with us. And then if there's maybe something I talked about that you've used and you have just have had great success, share that with us too. We would love to hear from you guys.
Okay, well, can everyone hear? We're good?
Yes.
Okay, so I have recently been reading and studying the methods that Presley Swaggerty talks about. So a lot of it, you did cover, but just some key things that I wrote down, and we always talk about how fortune is in the follow-up. When he talks about that, he talks about 3 character traits that we must develop or continue to work on, kind of wherever your level is, and to be effective in following up. And so the character traits are being positive, being patient, and being persistent. And when he's talking about being positive, it's that whole mindset of, from the time that we are going into that follow-up, to make sure that we're not already having those negative thoughts in our mind. And fear is the only thing that starts doing that to us. We start figuring out a way to get out of the follow-up, or they're probably really busy, or I'm too busy, or you come up with some reason not to follow up. And so he was saying that a negative person who is kind of caught up in that rut, when they go to follow up with that person and they don't get a message back, they'll say, oh, they don't want the products. They're just not interested in this. And so that begins to play over and over in their mind. A person who's going in with that positive mindset will say, you know what, something must have come up. I know we're all busy. I'm going to follow up with them again. You mark it on your list and you follow up later. And so just really being positive. Don't choose to play the negative story in your mind. And remember, this whole process that we're going through is we have to be very open to the yeses and the nos, because every experience that we have is a growing experience. And as far as being patient, it's kind of like what Ashley was saying, is you have to really develop a lot of patience in network marketing, more than I even realized, because when I joined Plexus, and you guys probably see this as well, the promotions that come through, and the person's like, man, I've been doing this for a month and I'm already silver and I'm almost gold at this. And so you see those in your newsfeed, And so you just have to remember that it's your own personal growth. It's your journey. Everything that you go through, you're going to just be a better leader when it's time, when the time is right. Because most of everything that when people join, it is all about timing and what's right for them in their life. So really just keep up with that and, just be patient. Don't compare yourself to others, because it'll take away from the things that you're doing each day to grow as a Plexus leader. As far as being persistent, just keep following up. And I just wanted to share some of the little things that he was saying. When he's talking about being persistent with following up, he was saying control the follow-up. So if a person says, if you say, oh, can I talk to you about Plexus, okay? And they say, sure. Again, like Ashley said, make sure to say, okay, great. Can we talk today or tomorrow? If they respond back and, say, oh, well, I'm going to be really busy tomorrow, give them another date. And just remember that, and sometimes that comes off as like, am I being pushy or whatever? But they've already told you and committed that they want to hear about the product or they want to try the sample or whatever. So just kind of keep controlling it in that way to where you always have kind of a set time to talk to them again or to follow up. That's something that I'm working on, because I've battled back and forth of, am I being too pushy, when really they already said yes. So, just take it from there. And if it comes down to it where they just finally say, no, and you've done kind of the tug of war back and forth, just ask them, say, is it all right if I check in with you again in about 6 months? I know things are crazy right now and something may change. And most of the time, they will say yes to 6 months. Another thing real quick, and I'll be done, but something I'm personally working on, and I know that it would be huge if we could all get this down, is really setting appointments and like coming outside from the computer, having that coffee, having that lunch date, and being ready to, share the products or share the business opportunity. He talks about how everyone asked him, he and his wife, how did they make millions? And he says he stayed plugged in to exactly things that we're doing tonight. He set appointments and he showed the plan and told people why they should join the business. And he just encourages us all to know that you're going to have to set a lot of appointments. You're going to have to show a lot of product and, do a lot of that. But just some things, he just says, master the invitation and you'll master the business. And so that's what I'm personally working on, is just really asking people if we can get coffee, if we can do whatever. And the ways you can do it is like Ashley and everyone has said, a one-on-one, a two-on-one, opportunity calls and events like that. And then lastly, just keep it really simple when you're talking with someone. I know that in the beginning, I would try to tell people a lot about the compensation plan, because it's kind of like, this is the exciting thing, I don't know what to do. And it just like went over their head. It doesn't mean anything to them. And so really just focus on our company, your story, our belief, why we're doing this. And that's kind of it. And I saw some video today. I'm always watching like inspirational stuff. And so the guy was just talking about just gratitude, always having gratitude to wherever you are in the business and in your learning. And because gratitude will bring abundance. So that's all I have.
That's good. Thanks, Kaylani. In fact, I heard today, one of the things I was watching, they were talking about when you were saying about the personal development, because that's one of the biggest surprises I've had with this. I didn't know, when I started, I'm like, who knew? But, that's that they were saying network marketing is really just personal development with a compensation plan. And I thought that was really, it's so true, because the more and it's all so connected, because the more that you invest in yourself personally, your personal growth, the more you get to know yourself, the more you develop yourself as a leader, the bolder you become, the more passionate you become, the more confident you become, and the better you become at reaching out to people and sharing this opportunity and sharing this information. It just comes across, with so much more conviction. And so it all kind of, your success, it does have to start with you as a person and your own belief and in yourself. And of course, like in the products and in the business, but the personal development stuff, it just needs to, I wish I would have started that from day one. Really. I really do. So yeah, good Good. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
I think for me, the biggest thing that I've learned the year I've done this is the time. It's just going to take time for some people to take that leap. And it really is true. It usually takes 6 to 12 times for you to follow up and continue that relationship and be intentional about it before people will jump on board and give it a try. I had someone last March who we talked, back and forth, and she gave me, and also like knowing people are going to give you a no, and that you just got to detach yourself from the outcome, but a no is usually just a maybe. And this is a year ago, she told me no, and I keep a no list, put her on my no list, and, because money was really tight for them. And so anyways, we're having a special, so I just reached back out and just said, hey, I know money was tight around this time last year because, it was tax season, that kind of thing, and she was paying money. But I want to let you know we're having a great, special. Would love to talk to you about it. And she messaged me right back and said, I've been thinking about it, like, give me a call. And she sent me her number, and she ordered within that night. So just knowing that it's going to take the time. Like, it's not like I'm going to tell this person once and then they're going to order. It's being consistent with following up, and then also being intentional about what you share with them, whether it's a testimony or a diamond documentary, whatever it is. Just, I think those 2 words are huge when it comes to reaching out, is being intentional and being consistent, because it does take time. And that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Yeah, the consistency is huge. I mean, it's huge, and it speaks volumes, I think, for the people that are watching and waiting for the time to be right for them. If you stop being consistent, you're off their radar. Someone else is being consistent, and so you need to be the one that they want, to work with. That they trust you. They trust that you're invested in this because you have not gone anywhere, in a year, in 2 years, or whatever it is. And so, if they have the choice, who they want to order from. And so it really is an honor when someone chooses to order from you and gives you kind of that privilege of working with them. But the consistency in the follow-up, and the consistency in just in life. I mean, consistency is just, like I said earlier, so many people are not that. They're not people of their word. Lots of inconsistency, and so it just speaks volumes, I think, when you say, can I follow up with you in 6 months? And then you do it. And they're like, dang, she didn't forget about me. She really meant that, So anybody else have anything they want to share, or even any questions about any of this that we've talked about? Pam, do you have a question? I'm not calling you out, but I know that you have it. I love your question. So if you don't, that's okay.
I do, but it's not related to any of this. Can I ask?
Of course, yes.
Are we still getting the emails for when people sign up under us or anything like that?
No, I got, what's weird is like, I'll get them if I sign somebody up, but I haven't been getting them. And then like randomly the other day, Michelle, I think you signed up and I got an email on that one. It will start again, but I would just say to, if you're getting in your back office every day, where you can see that on that side little box, just be looking there, and they'll start back up again. I think that's just right now with like trying to catch up on the shipping and everything. I knew for a while they had turned those completely off, and there was a time I wasn't even getting them on my level 1s, but you should get them if you yourself, sign or sponsor a new ambassador, or when your customer orders go through, or a new customer, you should be getting them for that. But beyond that, it's kind of like hit or miss right now.
Okay. All right.
And the other thing that's hard too is if they're if they upgrade from customer to ambassador, they don't show up in that little box on your dashboard. And I know that will probably, all those things will change, if we're wanting that, other people are too. So, but that's kind of hard too, is keeping track of that. Like if you're just trying to, see how many customers did we have that upgraded or whatever. Because I'm not getting emails on those. I don't get emails on those when they're my level. Even when it's my customer that upgrades, I don't get an email on that.
Okay. How often do you follow up with your wholesale ambassadors, Ashley?
It just depends like how long they've been on it. I mean, you know, obviously when you're getting someone started on the products, especially if it's a triplex, I mean, you're talking pretty frequently those first few weeks, first month, really, just to make sure they can't all that. But then I kind of take it to, I mean, I've got wholesale ambassadors now who I know they're happy. And they've kind of added in all the products that are pretty appropriate for them. So I might check in like once a month, once every 6 weeks, but they've been at it for a while. In the beginning though, I would follow up like, you know, I would follow up monthly, and then I would say, hey, okay, you're doing great. I would suggest a new product that might help with an additional, you know, need that they had. And they don't always, you know, want to do that. But of course, anytime that there's a coupon deal that they have to manually enter in, I follow up with them with that. So I just kind of, I do it about monthly, you know, but in the beginning it's more frequently. The thing is too, you don't want to do it too much, especially in the beginning, because I think it can set up an unreasonable expectation where people might think, well, gosh, she keeps following up with me. Should I be like losing weight already? You know, that kind of a thing. But you know, especially in the beginning, just making sure that you get them eased on good with the ProBio 5 and everything. And I probably do it like every few days. And then once they're good on the triplex, I'll go a couple weeks. And then follow up with them again, like before, if they're going to place an order before their backup order ships out, I'll make sure, you know, I'll follow up with them and just kind of guide them through that, like their auto qual going out and everything. And then I kind of fall back to weekly. To monthly.
Okay. All righty. I love that you girls are sharing those books with everybody, because I have like kept a book list so that, you know, when I get done with one, I have another suggestion and I can start with it. So I love that.
I have a book problem. It's a big one. Like I just had another book come in the mail today, and I have like 2 more on the way. I mean, I have like bookmarks in every book because it's a problem. It's a real problem. I have an addiction to books. I've always been that way, but a lot of these are so short. They're such easy reads that, I don't know. It's just, they're really good.
No.
Anybody else have any questions or comments or anything? Hi, Michelle. I didn't get to say hi to you when you got on. We'd already started. Good to see you. Oh, wait. Let me unmute you. What'd you say?
I said, hey, sorry, I was on the phone and listening from the phone earlier because I was on the way home from class and stuff.
That's okay. Glad you could join us.
Me too.
I know you guys have, is it testing week? Or is that next?
MAP testing's next week, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my grad class tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Read to Succeed add-on certificate for teaching. Ugh.
Wow. Busy mama. Well, okay. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, then I recorded this, so I'll download it and everything, and then that way I can post it if other people might want to watch it and see what they missed. And then we'll plan to meet again Thursday, and we'll just kind of see. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, do we want to do follow-up or IPA, or I don't know, something kind of related to some sort of business building? You guys can kind of throw out ideas out there, and we'll just kind of settle on, or 3-way calls or 3-way chats, you know, something like that. We can do a little bit more training on. So if there's anything, you can just kind of throw it out there on the page that you would like, that it would be helpful to be covered. We can do it. Okay, well, hey, good to see you guys. And Tiffany, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. There's Mary. Well, hello again.